What would make a family walk away from a life that many people spend decades trying to build? We take a closer look at the remarkable story behind Raising Voyagers, a family whose decision to leave behind a conventional American lifestyle has fascinated viewers around the world. At first glance, their story appears to be about travel, renovation projects, and life in the Italian Alps. However, the deeper story began long before they purchased an old stone house in Europe. Before becoming known online, Heather and Bradey Jobson lived a life that many would consider successful. They had stability, routines, responsibilities, and the security that countless families work hard to achieve. From the outside, there seemed to be little reason to make a dramatic change. Yet over time, the family began asking questions that would eventually reshape their future. They wondered whether stability alone was enough. They questioned whether the pace of modern life was allowing them to spend their time in the way they truly wanted. Most importantly, they began thinking about the experiences they hoped their daughters would carry into adulthood. Those questions did not lead to immediate action. Instead, they slowly grew stronger, becoming a constant presence in family conversations. While many people experienced similar thoughts and quickly returned to routine, the Jobsons continued exploring them.
What started as simple curiosity would eventually become the foundation for one of the most significant decisions of their lives. The family was about to discover that sometimes the most difficult question is not how to build a successful life, but how to define what success actually means. Sometimes the biggest life changes begin with a question that seems almost impossible to answer. Is this really the life we want? As we examine the Raising Voyagers journey, one theme appears again and again. Contrary to what some viewers might assume, their decision was not driven by a public crisis, financial collapse, or a desire to escape responsibility. Instead, it emerged from a growing curiosity about whether life could be lived differently. Both Heather and Bradey had experiences that exposed them to cultures beyond their immediate surroundings. Those experiences revealed that families around the world often define success in very different ways. In some places, community relationships appeared stronger. In others, daily life moved at a slower pace. The family became increasingly interested in the idea that education, growth, and happiness might not be tied to a single location. These observations sparked deeper discussions. They began asking what kind of environment would best prepare their daughters for the future. Could learning happen through experience as much as through traditional methods?
Could exposure to different cultures help children develop a broader understanding of the world? The answers were not immediately clear, but the questions refused to disappear. Over time, those conversations became more serious. What began as curiosity gradually transformed into planning. The possibility of creating an entirely different lifestyle was no longer a distant idea. It was becoming a realistic option. And once that possibility appeared, the family found it increasingly difficult to ignore. Imagine selling the very things that once represented success. By 2020, the Jobsons had moved beyond discussion and into action. According to public accounts shared by the family, they made a decision that surprised many people around them. Rather than taking an extended vacation or making small adjustments to their routine, they chose to simplify their lives dramatically. Their house was sold, their vehicles were sold, furniture, possessions, and many items accumulated over years were gradually removed from their lives. For many observers, the move seemed risky. These were not just objects, they represented stability, predictability, and years of hard work. Letting them go meant stepping into uncertainty without knowing exactly what the future would hold. Yet the family viewed the decision differently. Instead of focusing on what they were losing, they focused on what they hoped to gain: time, experience, flexibility, opportunity.
Interestingly, they involved their daughters in the process, helping them understand why such significant changes were taking place. The transition was not presented as an escape from life, but as a different way of experiencing it. While many people dream about making dramatic changes, very few are willing to dismantle the structures that define their comfort zone. The Jobsons chose to do exactly that. It was a decision that required courage, planning, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty. Looking back, It would become one of the defining moments in their story. What happens after you sell almost everything you own? For the Jobsons, the answer was simple in theory, but far more challenging in practice. They began traveling. The family set out to explore different countries, cultures, and ways of living while documenting their experiences along the way. Unlike traditional vacations, however, this journey involved real life. They still needed to manage finances, educate their children, navigate unfamiliar systems, and adapt to constantly changing environments. Every destination brought new opportunities, but it also introduced new challenges. Language barriers, cultural differences, transportation logistics, and unexpected obstacles became part of everyday life. Yet these experiences also provided something they had been seeking: direct exposure to the world beyond their previous routine. The family quickly learned that freedom does not eliminate difficulty. In many ways, it simply replaces familiar challenges with unfamiliar ones. However, those challenges often became valuable learning experiences. Their daughters witnessed different cultures firsthand. They interacted with people from diverse backgrounds and gained perspectives that could never be replicated through books alone. Along the way, the family documented much of what they experienced. Initially, the recording served as a way to preserve memories and stay connected with friends and relatives. There was no guarantee that anyone beyond their immediate circle would ever watch. But as the journey continued, something unexpected began to happen. More viewers discovered their content, and those viewers were drawn not only to the destinations, but also to the authenticity of the family's experience. How does a personal family journal become a global online audience? That question lies at the heart of Raising Voyagers' unexpected growth. When the family first began recording videos, the goal was relatively simple. They wanted to preserve memories and share experiences with loved ones back home. The camera functioned more as a journal than a business tool. The focus was not on creating viral content. Instead, the videos captured everyday moments, challenges, discoveries, and personal reflections. As time passed, however, viewers began connecting with the honesty of the family's approach.
Unlike highly produced travel content that often focuses only on highlights, Raising Voyagers documented both successes and setbacks. Audiences saw real decisions being made in real time. They watched the family adapt to unfamiliar situations, solve unexpected problems, and navigate uncertainty together. That authenticity helped distinguish the channel from many others in the travel and lifestyle space. Viewers became invested in the family's journey because it felt genuine. There was no perfect roadmap. There was no guarantee of success. Each step forward involved risk and learning. As subscriber numbers grew, so did interest in the family's long-term plans. People wanted to know where they would eventually settle and whether the constant movement would continue indefinitely. The answer would arrive in a place that would fundamentally change the next chapter of their story. After exploring different possibilities, the family found themselves increasingly drawn to one country in particular. It was a place that seemed to offer many of the values they had been searching for all along. That place was Italy. As their travels continued, one destination began standing out more than the others. Italy was not originally part of a grand master plan. Like many places the family visited, it began as another stop on a much larger journey. However, the longer they stayed, the more they noticed something different about daily life. The pace felt slower. Communities appeared more connected.
Family gatherings seemed woven into everyday culture rather than squeezed into busy schedules. For Heather and Bradey, these observations were difficult to ignore. They had spent years questioning what kind of environment they wanted for their daughters, and Italy seemed to offer many of the qualities they had been searching for. This was not about finding a perfect country. Every nation has its own challenges and limitations. Instead, it was about discovering a place where their priorities aligned more closely with the surrounding culture. As the months passed, the idea of settling down became increasingly realistic. Constant travel had provided valuable experiences, but it also brought fatigue. Establishing routines, creating stability for the children, and building long-term plans became more important. The family was no longer simply looking for destinations to visit. They were looking for a place to call home. Eventually, their search led them to a small community near the Italian Alps. It was there that they encountered an opportunity that would become one of the most ambitious projects of their lives.
What they found was not a modern house ready for immediate comfort. Instead, it was something few people would have considered a dream home. Yet for the Jobsons, it represented possibility. What kind of family looks at a 200-year-old stone structure and sees a future instead of a problem? That question became central to the next chapter of Raising Voyagers.
In 2022, the family purchased an aging stone property in northern Italy. The structure carried centuries of history, but it also carried significant challenges. Large portions required extensive renovation. Modern utilities were limited or non-existent in some areas. The project would demand time, money, patience, and a willingness to learn entirely new skills. For many buyers, such conditions would have been enough to walk away. The Jobsons, however, viewed the property through a different lens. Rather than focusing solely on what the building lacked, they focused on what it could become. The purchase was not simply about owning real estate. It represented a long-term commitment to the lifestyle they had chosen. For the first time in years, they were no longer moving from destination to destination. They were creating roots. Yet purchasing the property was only the beginning. Renovating an aging structure in a foreign country introduced a new set of obstacles. Language barriers complicated communication. Construction schedules moved at a different pace. Permits, regulations, suppliers, and unexpected repairs created ongoing challenges. Every stage required problem solving. Every improvement required effort. Slowly but steadily, the project began transforming from an idea into reality. And with each completed step, the family moved closer to turning an abandoned structure into a place they could truly call home. The dream of starting over sounds inspiring.
The reality is often much harder. As renovation work progressed, viewers witnessed a side of the journey that many lifestyle stories rarely show. Progress was rarely quick. Unexpected expenses appeared regularly. Construction delays tested patience. Simple tasks often became complicated due to local regulations, weather conditions, or supply shortages. Living through a major renovation while raising children created additional challenges. Yet these difficulties also revealed something important about the family's mindset. Rather than treating obstacles as reasons to quit, they approached them as part of the process. Public updates showed a project advancing one step at a time. Walls were repaired, systems were upgraded, spaces gradually became more functional. None of it happened overnight. There were moments of uncertainty and frustration, but there were also moments of visible progress that reinforced why the family had chosen this path in the first place. Observers often assume that dramatic life changes lead directly to happiness. In reality, major transitions frequently involve discomfort. The Jobsons appeared to understand this reality from the beginning. Their goal was not to eliminate difficulty. Their goal was to create a life that felt meaningful despite the challenges. That distinction became increasingly important as the project evolved. The house itself was changing, but so was the family's understanding of what it meant to build something from the ground up.
In many ways, the renovation became a reflection of their larger journey. Both required patience, both required sacrifice, and both demanded a willingness to embrace uncertainty. Many viewers see the videos, few stop to consider how such a lifestyle is financially sustained. As Raising Voyagers continued growing, questions naturally emerged about the business side of their journey. What began as personal documentation gradually developed into a content platform with a global audience. The family's YouTube channel became one of the most visible parts of that growth. Through regular uploads, they shared updates about renovations, travel experiences, and daily life in Italy. Like many creators, they also expanded into additional platforms and services. Supporters could choose to follow exclusive content, access deeper project updates, and engage more directly with the family's work. Affiliate partnerships, educational resources, and other digital offerings became part of a broader creator ecosystem. Importantly, this evolution did not happen instantly. Building an audience requires consistency, and maintaining that audience requires ongoing effort. Behind every published video are hours of filming, editing, planning, and communication. While public estimates about creator income often vary widely, the broader reality remains clear. Content creation can become a full-time profession when supported by a sufficiently engaged audience.
For Raising Voyagers, the growth of their platform appears closely connected to the transparency of their journey. Viewers were not simply watching a renovation project, they were following a family making real decisions with real consequences. That connection helped transform casual viewers into long-term followers. Over time,
the audience became an important part of the story itself, supporting a project that began as a simple effort to document family experiences. So, what was the real reason Raising Voyagers walked away from the American dream? After examining their journey, the answer appears more nuanced than many headlines suggest. The family did not publicly describe their decision as a rejection of America, nor did they present it as a claim that one country is inherently better than another. Instead, their story reflects something far more personal. They reached a point where they wanted a different definition of success. Rather than measuring progress primarily through possessions, routines, or traditional milestones, they chose to prioritize experiences, flexibility, family time, and cultural exposure. That decision led them down a path filled with uncertainty, risk, and countless challenges. It required selling assets, leaving familiar surroundings, adapting to new environments, and rebuilding their lives from the ground up. Yet despite the obstacles, they continued moving forward. Today, the old stone house in Italy stands more than a renovation project.
It serves as a symbol of a larger transformation. Every repaired room reflects a choice made years earlier, when the family decided to question assumptions many people never challenge. Whether viewers agree with their decisions or not, one fact remains difficult to ignore. Few people are willing to completely redefine the life they have built. Raising Voyagers did exactly that. Their story is ultimately not about leaving something behind. It is about pursuing a vision of life that felt more aligned with their values. And perhaps that is why their journey continues to resonate with audiences around the world. In the end, they did not walk away from success. They simply chose to define it differently.